Hello there, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to work with 3D text models that you can create from 3D design applications like Blender and Vectory. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to import them into your React applications with the help of React 3 Fiber and a small command line utility. So as you can see in this demo, I've got some 3D text here that are created in a 3D design application, and I can rotate them and see it at different angles, and I've got some lighting applied to it, and I'll also be showing you how to change the colors and other properties like scaling and the positioning, and apply animations as well. So this is similar to a video that I did previously on how to build a product customizer. So this is working with text, so it's a little bit different. So we're going to be using an online application called Vectory. So you don't need to download the software. It's like Blender, but it's online and it's easy to use as well. So it's probably much easier than Blender. As you can see, you can create 3D models here, and it's like any other sort of design application. It's similar to Figma. So we're going to be using this to create a 3D model and export it. So in this video, you're going to be learning how to export simple custom 3D text from Vectory, which is the 3D design application, and we're going to be using a small utility called JSX GLTF to generate some React code so that you can so it can be compatible with a React. And I'm gonna show you how to import GLB and GLTF files into your React 3 Fiber app. So there are different file formats that you can work with, but we're going to be working with GLB. So I'm going to also show you how to animate and change properties of 3D text using React 3 Fiber. So if you liked videos like this, please subscribe to my channel and let's get started. I've already run Create React App, and I've got a basic application set up already, as you can see here. So I'm just gonna delete a few files and then just do some basic cleanup. So I'm not gonna need the app.test. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna delete the logo SG, and I'm gonna delete the setup tests. Okay, and so these are the basic files I'm going to use, and I'm not going to be using the app.css. I'm going to be just doing some simple styles in the index.css. So I'm going to just delete that as well, what's inside the index.css, and I'm just going to paste in some basic styling for this demo. So this is the basic styling. I've got some body style there, and some padding and margin for resetting the styles, and some I'm going to have a wrapper with sort of a minimum height 100 view height, and it's going to be a display flex, and it's just standard stuff there. So, and in the app.css I'm going to delete the import logo. Okay, and also I'm going to be importing not the app.css, I'm going to be importing index.css. So this is the basic setup. So I'm just going to delete what's inside there as well. And so I've got a div, and I'm just going to name that to wrapper. Okay, so this is the basic setup. Next we're going to install React 3 Fiber. So we're going to go to terminal, a new terminal, and we're going to say npm install, and the first thing that we need to do is we're going to be installing three things. So the first one is 3, then we're going to install at react3/fiber, and then we're going to install at react-3 and /Dray. Okay, now Dray is a component that allows you to do more advanced 3D graphics, and it's a layer that you probably be using for doing more complex things. Okay, so I've already run this, so you need to run this and make sure that everything's run properly. And after it's run, then you should be able to go to package.json and you should see the three things installed there. So I've got React 3 Gray, Fiber, and I've got 3 installed as well. So I've already run it, so I'm not going to be running it. So I'm just going to close this window. And now at the top, I'm going to just import the things that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be import. First thing is I'm going to import use ref from React. Okay, and the second one is import from import curly open close curly brackets, and I'm going to be importing from, and it's going to be at React 3 Fiber. Okay, so what I'm going to import, so I'm going to be importing canvas. Okay, so canvas is a wrapper that you're going to use to render your 3D graphics, and we're also going to be using use frame, so that allows you to do some animation. And okay, then the second thing that we need to import from React 3 Fiber is well, it's going to be from React 3 Dray. So it's from and it's at React 3 /Dray, and we're going to be importing orbital controls. Okay, this allows us to move the camera around the 3D object, and we're also going to be using use GLTF. Okay, and this is the module that allows you to import models, custom models that you create from other outside packages. Okay, so we're going to be creating our text in an application called Vectory, which I'm going to be using in a minute. So these are the basic things that you need to import to get React 3 Fiber working. Okay. Next, we're going to add some boilerplate JSX to get React 3 working. Okay, so what I'm going to first put in is a canvas. Okay, so it's a /canvas. Okay, and in between the canvas, I'm going to have a suspense. Okay, so this is one of the things that I need to import as well. Suspense. Now, suspense is a sort of a thing that will catch errors, and you can specify a sort of a spinner, while things are loading, etc. So it'll have a fallback, and I'll just leave it as null. Okay, so then also so it's automatically added suspense there, so from React. Okay, so that's a good thing. Okay, so we can also have in the canvas, we can specify camera, and it's an equal to double curly brackets, open and close curly brackets, and within there we're gonna have a field of view. Okay, so we're gonna be lowercase field of view, and this is going to be I'm going to leave it as 70. This is to do with the size of the viewport. You can play around with it later if it's not up to your expectations. So I just have so I'll have a comma there, and then I'm going to have the position for the camera, which is going to be an array of 3 numbers with the coordinates. So it's going to be 0, 0, I'll just leave it at 65. Okay, so this will be sort of the camera will be from the origin. It will go backwards 65 units. Okay, so we can play around with this if if the text is not showing up properly and things like that. So then under the suspense, we're gonna have an ambient light as well, so that we can see our model. Okay, so this is sort of the basic thing that you need to get things running so that you can see your 3D. So we're going to be creating 3D text. We're going to be creating custom 3D text in an application called Vectory, and then we're going to import it into our application. Okay, so we can export it from Vectory, then import it into React. Okay, so Vectory is a 3D design application. So as you can see here, you can create these sort of advanced photorealistic 3D objects with animation and things like that. And the user interface is very similar to sort of Figma. So I mean, it's sort of a look and feel, but it's all like 3D features. So it's different in that aspect. But as you can see, it's quite user friendly. All right, and you can create a free account, and I think you get something like 15 projects that you can do. Then you can just keep deleting it when you reach the limits. So I'm going to open up Vectory. Okay, and as you can see, you're presented with this sort of your workspace, and you can create a new project here. Just click on new project, and then Vectory should load in your browser. So then you get this screen with this sort of templates. We're not going to be using this template. We're just going to click away. Okay, so then we've got this sort of plain sort of a sheet of gridded paper sort of thing, which is, you can move around in 3D. And this is the origin. You can zoom in, zoom out. Okay. Okay, just to run through on the menu items. In the first item is that sort of arrow icon, and it's got the select and the marquee and things like that there. And on the second one is the cube icon, and here you've got you can insert box and spheres and all these 3D shapes. And also at the bottom we've got the 3D text. That's what we're going to be using. And then you got the light and things like that. We're not going to be too bothered with that. Okay, so we're just gonna create a 3D text. And also, just for your info, if you click on workspaces, you got these advanced templated 3D objects which you can sort of customize and use in your projects. That's quite handy if you sort of because it's quite hard to find a 3D objects art on the web, so you can use Vectory to create your own here. So that's a good thing. So we're not going to be that's a very advanced feature, but we're not going to be too bothered with that. So I'm going to click on project. Okay, so in the project you have a project name. Now you need to rename that project name to something simple without spaces. So I'm just going to put demo text / dash text. Okay, and press enter. Okay, so as you can see, we've got sort of left panel and a right panel. So on the left panel, you get all the sort of the assets and things like that for your project. And when you click on an asset, you get the properties of that asset on the right hand side. So that's something to be aware of. Okay, so I'm gonna create. So I'm gonna click on that cube and create 3D text. Okay, then this text will appear there. Okay, so and on the right hand side you got the properties of the text. So you got the position, you got the rotation and scale and things like that. Okay, and then you got the actual text here. So if I change that to demo text, okay, so I've changed that to demo text now. So that's how you change the wording for your text in that little box there. Okay, so you can also change the font style as well. So I'm gonna change that to audio script. Okay, so and Also, you know, you got other things here that you can change. We're not going to be too bothered with that, like you know, justification and things like that. Okay, so and if I go down, I think yeah, if you go down, you have something called material. Okay. So you got material there, and the material, we're going to change the roughness. We're going to change the color to something like red. Okay, so I'll make this red. Okay, so and also the roughness. Now roughness is you know, you can give it a plasticky shine to it, or you can have it rough. Now we're going to put it 50% just to be safe, because there are some issues with React 3 fiber, you know, to show shiny objects, because you need more sort of advanced you need to know advanced techniques to show the shininess and things like that. So we're going to put the roughness to 50% and the metalness to and we're going to leave the rest as that. Okay, so just change the roughness to 50% and we've got to change the color. That's all we're going to do. Now I'm going to also change the scale. Okay, I'm going to put it to something below. Now if I click on the text, you know, you got this sort of, if I click away, okay, so if I click on the text, you get this sort of this arrow thing. You have this sort of arrow thing. It's and you can sort of you know, move it left and right and up and down. Okay, and you can also resize it. So if I click on the blue arrow, there's a little box there. So you can click on the arrow to move it up and down, but if you click on the box, you can resize it. So as you can see, it's resizing. So I'm going to make it to something like you know 10. You can see the sizing here. So I got the X value as 44, Y value as that's X, yeah, that's Y, and that's Z. Okay, so I'm gonna make it something like 38. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, so and the position is 0. Okay, so I just put the position to 0, 0. Okay, so it's just it's in the middle. Okay, so I got change the position to 0, 0, 0, and also change the scale to 40, 3, and 7. Okay. Just to warn you that you know, don't move the text around too much. Always try and keep it to the center, which is 0, 0, 0, and because then you otherwise you get sort of you know, unpredictable results when you import it. So always sort of set it to the default 0, 0 position. As you can see here, and the scale should be what you see here. Okay, so you can either type the scale in or you can adjust the scale there. It's up to you. Okay, so and also we've only changed the color and the roughness. I haven't changed anything else, and so that's something to be aware of. And okay, so the next thing is we're going to export this and to a file format called GLTF. Okay, so before we do that, we're gonna click on the 3D text that we just created on the left hand side. I'm gonna click on it and click on group. Okay, so what this does is it will put it into a group container. Okay, so this will be easier to work with. All right, and so now to export it, I'm gonna click on the hamburger menu, and I'm going to say export, and in the file format I'm going to click on GTLF. Okay, oh, we're going to do GLB. It's the same thing. Okay, so we're going to do GLB, it's a sort of a condensed version of it. Okay, so we're going to do GLB, and we're just going to accept the default. Okay, so click on download, and this will download in your download folder. So if I open up my download folder, I should see a demo text file there, and it's a 3D object, and it should be of the format GLB. Okay, so what I need to do now is okay, so we've exported for this file. So I just wanted to make you aware that when you're exporting, make sure you click and highlight on the project name and then export it. Otherwise, if you export if the text is highlighted, then you get a different result. So just be wary of that. If your export did not come out properly, then you need to sort of click on the demo text and highlight it, then click on export feature. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. All right, so going back to our exported file, so this exported file contains our 3D text. Okay, and this the format of this file is sort of a JSON format. Now, when we import it into our React app, we can also change the properties like the color and things like that, our position. So we need to run a command line utility that will generate some React code that we can directly use in our React app, so that we can change aspects of the 3D text. Okay, so to do that, we need to go into the terminal window, and I'm using git bash. So just a command line, and so you're opening up the command line in the downloads folder, and usually you should copy this to some other place so that it's not with your downloads. But for this example, we're just going to do it straight in the downloads folder. Okay, so in the command prompt of the downloads folder, I'm going to run a utility called npx, and it's GLTF.jsx. Okay, and then I'm going to have the specify the file name that we want to generate code for. So it's demo-text.glb. Okay, so the extension to this is GLB. Okay, so and then we just press enter. Okay, then once that is finished, we should see a JSX file here, or JS JavaScript file. So as you can see, I've got a demo text JS file there now. So I've got two, which is the GLB, and the second one is the demo text JS file. Okay, so that's what you get when it's completed. So it's created a demo text.js file. Okay, so I'm just going to close that. Now I can open this up in Notepad and just inspect it. So as you can see, it's generated this code here. So this is a component called model that we can use straight in our application. So as you can see, it's created a group, and within there it's got another group with the mesh and things like that. So the mesh is the actual graphics, 3D graphics for each letter. So each letter has its own mesh, and it's got its position and material and things like that. Okay, so this code is ready to use. We don't need all of it. We just want the function part of it. So and it's going to be a normal function, so we don't need the export default as well. Okay, so So as you recall, we already specified to use the use GLTF hook in our application, so we don't need none of this as well. Okay, so we just need that. Okay, so I'm just going to close this for the time being. Okay, so we can use that code, and we also need to copy this into our public folder. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to go back into VS Code. Okay, I'm just going to open up that folder again. So I'm just going to drag the GLB file into the public folder. So this is the public folder. So I'm just going to copy that into the public folder. All right. And then I'm going to come back into the app.js. Now I'm going to open up that file and copy the JS file, and I'm going to copy the function. Okay, so I'm going to copy the export default function, and I'm going to just paste it in just above the function app. Now we don't need the export default part because it's just going to be a normal function. Okay, so we've got a model here now. Now we need to bring that into our application. So it's just a matter of saying model in the JSX part, and that's all we need to do. It's because so we just specify that component. Okay, so looking through this code, so I'm just going to minimize this. So it's got a group. We put it in a group, and then within there it's got another group for the text. Okay, and then you got the meshes inside there for each letter. So as you can see, it's got a D, E, M, O text. Okay, so it's got for each letter, it's got a mesh with the material and the position. Okay, now that we got our code for our 3D text model into our app, we can run the server. So if I go to terminal, new terminal, and you need to do npm run start. Okay, I'm already running the server, so I don't need to do this. So this is what you need to do. Okay, so just close that, and I'll go to the browser. So this is what you're gonna get, and I must warn you, you won't get the text at the moment. Okay, there's a reason for that. If I go back to the code, now in the code for our text model, you got two group wrappers, and the second one you got a scale attribute. Now you need to change that to equal to 1. Okay, so if I save that and go to the browser and do a refresh, okay, so the text is appearing now. Now it's rather small, so what we can do is if you go back and go to the code, and you can bring the camera forward, so you got the position there. So if I make it to something like 25, okay, and I do a refresh, okay, so that's brought it forward. So it's a bit sort of blurry, so that's because we need to put in some lighting for it. Okay, so if I go to the code again, and now we've got ambient light, and that ambient light is sort of a general light, but you need like a spotlight or a direct light to give it more a realistic feel. Okay, so ambient light just shows the object, but with directional light you get some shadows and things, and then it'll look better. Okay, so we're gonna put in directional light, and it's gonna have some values. So I'm gonna have intensity equals to I'm gonna say 2, and then I'm also gonna have a position, and it's going to have it's going to be equals to curly, open close curly brackets, and it's going to be an array. It's going to be 0, 0, comma, make it 50. Okay, and see what that, so it should be a end tag there. Okay, so save that and do a refresh. Okay, so now you can see better. Okay, so I can bring it forward a bit. So put the camera a bit more, say 15. Okay, so now you can see the text better. So we can also give it an orbital controls. So orbital controls, we can allow, we can rotate the object. So it's going to be orbital controls, and we're going to have enable, and we're going to have enable pan is equals to true, and we're going to also have enable zoom is equal to true, open close brackets, and we're also going to have enable rotate equals to true. Okay, so, and that's end tag. Okay, so it's enable rotate equals true. Okay, so if I save that and go, okay, just do a refresh. Now I should be able to rotate it around. So that's what the orbit controls do. Okay, so now you can see the text, and you can see the lighting has sort of an effect on it, and you can see sort of, you know, darker. So as you can see, the light is shining on the front face, and you can see the top darker. Okay, so that's the effect of lights. Now going back to our code, we can also change aspects of these the mesh for the individual letters. So say if we want to change the position of something, or change the scale. Say I change the scale for the D to maybe 0.29 or something, and let's just see what happens there. Okay, you see that the D has become bigger now. Okay, so just put that back, and you can also sort of position it. So this is minus 20 and 1.55, 0.2. So that's the position of it. Now, that's the X value, and that's the Y value, and that's the Z value. So if I wanted to bring it towards the camera, so I can put like 20, say, let me just say 5 or something. Let's just see what happens. See, this is the D's come forward. Well, I think it's gone up. It's gone up. Yeah. So this is sort of gone. Let me see. Yeah, it's gone up. So that's the Y value. Okay, so there's a slight difference in the positioning of these models. That's the Y value, and that's the Z value, and that's the X value. So in React 3.5, it's, you know, this is X, Y, and Z. So that's something to be aware of. They're using a different value for X and Y, X and Z. So this is the X value. So I mean, this is the Y value. This is X, Z, and Y. So so if I change that back to 0. So okay, so let's change it back. Okay, so you can change the positioning mode. Just be aware of that. It is slightly different from React 3 positioning. Okay. Now you can also change the color of the text. We go to the end of, say, the mesh for D, and I add in material material dash color equals to open close curly brackets, and I say green. Okay, and I save and go to the browser. There you go. So it's changed it to a green. So I can change that to a blue. Okay, so you can change the color of it. Now the thing is, if you change the color of one, it changes for all. That's because the way we create the text in Vectory, we created it as a group, and that's the way it's exported it. So I assume there's a different way of creating it in Vectory, so that we can apply our own colors to individual text and letters. Okay, so that's how you target individual letters. So you can change the positioning and color. Well, you can change the color of the whole thing. If you change the color of one of the letters, yeah, and you can change the scaling as well. So now we're gonna do some animation. So to use animation, we need to make sure that we got import a use frame. Oh, hold on a minute. I've got use frame there. It should be small letters. Use with a U should be small letter, and it's use frame. Okay, so with this we can add we can animate this quite easily. Okay, so as you know, as you can see here, we got a group with a ref which is equal to a group. So, and we've declared that constant group equals use ref there. Okay, so we can use this to target that to animate. And the way we animate it is we use frame hook. So it's just saying use frame and open close brackets, and it's going to be we're going to have an arrow function, and it's equal arrow function there, open close curly brackets. Okay, so in the arrow function it's gonna accept an object called clock, and then in the actual callback arrow function, we're gonna target the group dot current, and it's going to be a rotation, and then the dot, we're going to target the x value, which is equal to clock, and dot get elapsed time. Okay, and that's open close brackets. Save that in the browser. There you go. That's how simple it is to animate our text. So in Vectory, when you're creating the text, you can create it with different style letters, and you can import it, and you can manipulate it in all these different ways of animating it and change the color, the position. So that's how you create your custom text and import it into React. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to my channel and join me in the next video.